Hi and welcome to this beginner Lumberyard tutorial. Once you're done setting up Lumberyard and you have all the required stuff installed, just start it and go to the summary page and press Configure Project. There you should create a new project. Let's call it My First Game and just say Create Project and then just press Launch Editor. Once you see the Welcome to Lumberyard editor window, just press New Level, call it My First Level, and keep all the other defaults. And in the Generate Terrain texture, just go with the defaults as well. Here you go, you can navigate with WASD, middle mouse button for up, down and side movements, and right mouse for rotation. The first thing we want to do is to add a player, which we can control, and a camera, so we can watch the player, right? So let's go to the database view, and in it, select the Prefabs Library tab, and press Load Library, and then add the prefabs/character controllers. Then drag the sphere controller into the 3D view of the editor. You can now close the database view and click in the editor view and go to Game, switch to Game, or just press Ctrl G, and you can use WASD, mouse and space to move and jump. Oh, interesting. Anyways, you are a cute robot. To exit the game mode, press Escape. Now let's add some objects to the level. Go to the roll-up bar over here, the sidebar on the right, press Brush and unfold objects until you get to Objects, Style Town, Architecture, Props, and we want a street lamp. You can see it here in the preview. And just drag it into the level and then click to release it. Now press Brush again and this time go to the Natural folder, Terrain, and add the road 14x14 to the view. Then use the Move tool. You can also disable the grid to put it under the lamp. Next, let us add some trees. In the roll-up bar, pick the first tab. In Objects, go to Brush and then go to Object, Style Town, Natural, Vegetation. And just drag a few of the trees in there. And then repeat. And of course, a shrubbery can never hurt. Save your level and then play it again. Let us redecorate a little. We're gonna get a bit on top of things with the camera. And first we're going to move things around using the Move tool to put some space between these trees. And this brush, shrubbery, and this tree. Alright. Let's also rotate some of these trees. Just use the Rotate tool, press the key 3 on your keyboard, and enable Lock on Z-axis. And just do that to some of them. Maybe even the lamp. We can also scale some of the objects using the Select and Scale tool. Let's make this tree huge and this one bit smaller. And also let's make the lamp smaller. Now let us paint the terrain so it looks nicer. First open the Terrain Texture Layers editor and then open the Materials editor. Put them next to each other and in the Terrain Texture Layers window press Add Layer twice and rename the first of the ones you created to Grass and the second to Dirt. Next, press the Grass material and go to the Material editor. There you should go to Materials and Getting Started Materials. Select Grass 1 and in the Terrain Texture Layers editor press Assign Material. Then select Dirt and here select Ground Stones Rough and press Select Assign Material again. You can now close both of these and in the roll-up bar, the sidebar on the right, press on the second tab, which is Terrain. Select Layer Painter, press on Grass, set the color to a nice green. And by nice I mean a slightly yellowish green. Then press Flood and hover over the ground and just click to confirm. And now press Save Layer. I think this is very important. And also after that press on Dirt, set the color to something dirty. Yeah, this is good. Some kind of brown. And this brush is a little big, so maybe set it to 2.5. And let's set the hardness to 0.5 as well. So, and now you can just paint a little. And I recommend you paint around the street, because that kind of makes sense, right? Yeah. Let's just give it a spin. Looks pretty good. And if you look close, you can see the difference in texture. Here we have grass, and over here we have dirt. It even has a kind of height map. Let's just save this progress. And now let's draw some hills. In the roll-up bar, press Modify and then press Rise Lower and set the settings here to outside radius 30, inside radius 1, hardness 0.2 is fine, and height 4. Let's keep the rest as it is, zoom out quite a bit and draw some hills. I can only recommend that you do it in layers, so to speak, so not just at one distance, like a circle of mountains. Instead, try to give this level more depth by having like mountains in the background. If you feel lazy, you can increase the outside radius to get this done quicker. And then reduce it again. And just add some nice mountains. Let's take a quick look what it looks like. Yeah, this feels much more alive, definitely. And also, this feels like the focus is really in the center here. And there might be something to explore, but let's not just get to that quite yet. As usual, let's save our progress. Now we should add some lights, but let's take a look first at the shadows. If you take a look, these are extremely dark, which is very unpleasant. So first we need to add what this engine calls an environment probe. So let's go to Objects, then to Misc, then press Environment Probe and just click in the level near the center. Let's zoom out a bit. make this bigger, I would say 200 and 200 again. Yeah, this looks good. Let's raise its height as well a bit. And let's turn it on so it is active. Then just press Generate Cube Map. Down here you see what's supposed to be going on. You can also drag this up to take a look at the progress. And let's take a look at the game now. As you can see, the shadows are much nicer. It's much nicer. So nice. Actually, now you can see there's detail. Oh, there's weird textures missing in this tree. But oh well. Now that we're done with making the world look nicer, let's change the time of day. So let's open the time of day editor. And you can change the time by just pressing these buttons or by using the slider. And if we give this some space, we can see how both the light, the shadow, and the fog tint and distance changes. Like sunrise is a very magical moment. And what we want is to set our time to midnight, because we're gonna work with light now. So take a look. This looks okay. It's bright enough thanks to the moon. But now let's add some light to this street post. To add a light, just go to Objects in the roll-up bar again, press Entity, and go to Lights and Light. Just drag it in and use the Move tool to place it right where it should be. And it should be, of course, at where the light bulb would be of the street post, of the lamp post. Alright. Next we want to set the texture of this lamp, of this light. So in the Entity Properties, under Projector, press on Texture, and pick the spot, let's say 70, 75. Press Open. And as you can see, it's showing to the side, so let's rotate this. We probably want to lock one of the axes for that. Yeah, the y-axis it is, I think. Let's set some settings. The bulb size should be 6, the radius should be 20. Let's make the color a bit yellow. Yeah, this looks good. Let's change the diffuse multiplier to 30. And let's change the projector field of view, or FOV, to 70. And we also wanted to cast shadows. So let's pick low spec for cast shadows, and as we can see, it already creates a shadow. So now let's give it a spin, and yeah. Now this has even this urban island even has some kind of flair. All right, time to save our map again. And now let's add some scripting. So we're going to create some game logic. The game is going to be interactive, but first let's move our player a little to the left, or rather away from the lamp and the light. Let us turn off the light actually, so it becomes not active. And now let us add an entity of the triggers type, and it should be a proximity trigger. Just drag it in, and I guess this is an acceptable area, but I think we should make it a bit bigger. So let's increase dim X to 10 and dim Y to 10, and the height should be fine. As you're probably guessing, we're gonna make the light go on and off automatically, so right click this proximity trigger icon and say create flow graph, and just call it light switch. This should automatically open the flow graph window. If it doesn't, let's assume it looks like this, just press the flow graph icon. We want to move it to the side a little, and in the 3D view we're going to click, first we're going to make sure that the proximity trigger is enabled, and in the flow graph editor we're going to go to the level flow graphs and open the proximity trigger, which is what we just created, and we're going to right click in this editor area and say add selected entity. So now we have an interactive piece that represents this area proximity trigger, I mean. Next, click on the lamp, or the light rather, and again right click in the editor for the flow graph and press add selected entity. And this is a rather simple way to script to make things interactive. So just say enter should enable it and leave should disable it. Now let's just try it out. And it doesn't quite work yet. What I found, if I close Lumberyard and launch the editor again, and load my first level, if I test it now, it will work. So there seems to be some kind of issue with the player being added, that you have to restart the project first, the first time at least. And as you can see, it works with only my player now, only player as well. Ideally at this point I would teach you how to add a light switch effect. Unfortunately I couldn't quite figure it out yet, so if you already know what objects to use for sound effects in Lumberyard, please let me know in the comments, and then I can also make a quick tutorial to explain how to do this to others. So now that we have created this interactive set, we can copy it. Just select all the parts and press Ctrl C, and then you can click somewhere else to release it. And we can of course add some decoration to this as well. More trees. More trees. And then we can also modify the ground a little. Whoop, for some reason the color didn't get... I think I forgot to click Save Color. So we're gonna have to enable... We're gonna have to set the color again, press Save Layer, and paint it a bit. And we can draw a path between the two. But the interesting thing is that we copied this light and we copied this proximity sensor. And if we go in here, the light goes on here. And if we walk over here, the light turns on here, but not at the other lamppost. So it reacts as it should be. This is it for this first tutorial. You can make a more interesting level, of course, with different kinds of lights. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and also leave a comment about what kind of tutorial you would like to see next. Have fun with Lumberyard. Ciao!